Okay guys, this is going to be a video on disease transmitting flies. As you can see, all the ones I caught right here just in about maybe 2 weeks. Disease transmitting flies. Wow. Okay, look at these creatures. Did you know that flies can go ahead and transmit hundreds of different types of diseases that we don't even know of, but at least 100 that they've got categorized because of these creatures. And these creatures, of course, they crawl on your food, they eat poop, and they love to spread their goodness everywhere. And you can see all the flies that are flying around this thing. So flies give us a lot of diseases, and we have no idea because we're worried about all the time getting sick. Okay, worried about catching a cold and a flu, but maybe could it be possible? Remember, most diseases are caused by parasites and heavy metal toxicity. No one really wants to talk about the flies though. Flies are everywhere. Remember, flies eat poop. Do you know that flies cause they've caused billions of dollars worth of damage just from people that get sick. Okay, and how do flies go ahead and spread infectious disease? Okay, well, they crawl on top of poop, just like I caught them in here. I'm going to show you guys also how to make a simple catch trap like this, and you don't want any flies around you at all. Yeah, there's some food for some things, but if they're domesticated, then or you're domesticated and you've got animals just like all these guys here, okay, the flies land on their poop, and of course they spread their disease around. So if you've got dogs at home, if you've got a garden, if you've got a compost pile, if you've got a trash can, flies are everywhere, and they cause a lot of disease that people have no idea about. They transfer, okay, their disease. Look at this stuff. They transfer their disease by crawling on things that are rotten, and then they crawl on your food, they crawl on your face, right? They buzz all around you. Look at these maggots. So let's just go through, some of the diseases real quick here. Okay, houseflies mainly spread infectious diseases. Okay, these are diseases caused by viruses, bacteria, protozoa, and even nematodes. Worms like roundworms, threadworms, different types of parasites. There's over 100 pathogens that are associated just with houseflies. Okay, so unlike other insects such as mosquitoes or ticks, these pathogens do not specifically require an insect vector. The housefly plays no specific role in the life cycle of these pathogens. Okay, the fly is simply a carrier in most instances, as you can see here. That is bloody sickening. So anyways, you can get all different types of diseases: anthrax, cholera, conjunctivitis, which is inflammation of the ear, diphtheria, dysentery, that means you got the poops, right? Food poisoning, gastroenteritis, leprosy, poliomyelitis, trachoma, tuberculosis, typhoid fever, yaws, all different types of diseases from these things. So, anyways, now, let me turn the camera around here. What do you think, Hodo? You watching? So, I gotta get away from this thing. This thing stinks too. So let's get the camera going right here. Okay, so, there we go. So this is the problem. These bloody flies, okay? Flies transmute disease. Remember, they're not the disease, they carry it. They poop on your food, they crawl on your food. They have a little, like this little sucker in the front of their face, right? And they crawl on a lot of rotten things. Remember, flies eat rotten stuff. They eat, mainly they like poop. So, flies that are in your house, you don't want those in the house. Remember, they're crawling on everything, and all you see these little black dots on everything, that's fly poop. Remember, they can transfer E. coli, they can transfer a ton of stuff okay, that you have no idea about. Why do you think you get sick sometimes? Okay, remember back in the early 1910s, 20s, 30s, whatever it is, if you had an open cesspool, okay, septic, dig a hole in the ground, you put a little toilet seat on there, and if you don't cover that, the flies crawl on everybody's poop, and then they crawl on everybody, and then they're transferring disease. And this is how you go ahead and get sickness to occur. So this is a very simple way for you to be able to just get a piece of any plastic bottle, doesn't matter what kind, and I'm going to show you real quick here how to make a fly trap outside. You can buy these too, okay? Or once you buy one, then you could go ahead and use the material from, well, when it gets full. Remember, this thing is full to the barrel. And all I did was drill holes in here. I put some food in here. Okay, you can put liver in here. You can put sugar, vinegar, water. Different flies eat different things. You can put poop in here. You can put whatever you want in here. And you will fill this thing up, okay, in a couple weeks. The stench comes out of this thing. Let's go back to looking at this thing. Getting this. Like to taste, remember, it smell, this stuff stinks. Okay, and the maggots, let's just go over just to, because you got to understand the lifestyle, the life cycle, okay, of these creatures. That is nasty. And remember, these things can make 120 eggs every time they breed. And let's just go over real quick on the life cycle. It is it's understood, all these different cycles, because you can watch them, okay? But the life cycle of the housefly is pretty weird, because most of us think that maggots are the nasty part, and maggots are actually pretty clean, right? But people even eat them. But the flies, okay, are the ones that transmit the disease, because they crawl on everything. Everything gets stuck on their legs and their little suckers, and they suck on other things, and they just pass everything around. So adult female flies lay up to 120 eggs at a time and can reproduce up to 5 to 6 times in a lifetime. Eggs are laid on any type of organic material, such as any garbage, food, compost, piles, garbage, manure. Eggs hatch really quick. They hatch in about 7.5 hours, emerging into what you're seeing right there, which are maggots. Okay, and those are those larvae. Look at all those things. And remember, these things, remember, they lay eggs, and they can hatch within about 7.5 to 8 hours after being laid. So these things are machines. They just replicate and have babies, okay? Maggots burrow into organic material and they defecate. And this is the disease that you get on a lot of different things too. So they just propagate disease. Now, maggots fully develop in about 3 to 14 days. Then they turn into a little pupa, like a cocoon, like a butterfly. And then you wind up getting a capsule to form, and you get an adult fly in a couple of days. So this is the life cycle of these nasty creatures that will definitely transmute disease. Okay, so if you have any animals at all, okay, let me turn this around again. One-man cameraman here. Okay, so if you have animals, that means you've got poop. If you've got a garden, okay, you've got compost material, you've got fertilizer that you're putting in. Remember, if you're doing an organic garden, you've got fertilizer you're putting in. That's organic poop. So people got to just really get this, straight. Remember, most disease, when you get the flu, you get a cold, whatever it is, okay, it's usually because you got infected by some type of mycotoxin, some type of parasite, some type of pathogenic bacteria. How did you get it? Remember, the dirty toilet seat, the dirty handles, wash your hands, okay, all that kind of stuff. But flies are the biggest and simplest, you could say, transmitter of disease. Mosquitoes do too. But no one really talks about the flies, okay? Because a lot of people, remember, don't have mosquitoes in certain areas, but everybody's got flies everywhere. Everybody's got flies. So if everybody's got flies, then you need to keep these suckers under control. Just like parasites in your body, you need to keep them under control. So in your house, if you get flies, they're crawling over everything. And it's usually because, remember, you got something in there that smells, and flies are attracted to the smell of crap, of rotten things, rotten flesh, just rotten garbage, anything like that. So what you got to do is not just get rid of the flies, but you got to go ahead and be smart. When you have trash cans, make sure you put lids on them, right? If you have a compost pile, put a piece of plastic on top of it. So the flies and stuff can't get in there as easy, is because all you're doing is just propagating more flies. And remember, flies eat poop and they transmute or transmit a lot of disease to a lot of things. Okay, so you know, like I said, we always talk about a lot of sickness. That's like a big mystery. And the reason why people don't get sick as much now versus in the old days is because they cleaned up their sanitation. These flies, okay, these are one of the biggest disease makers there are, and no one's really doing anything about it. So in your backyard, hang one of these guys up. Okay, and you can buy one of these from Home Depot. There's all different types. I'll show you a couple different types. Or I'm going to show you how to make your own, just real simple. So, like I said, that's 2 weeks worth of these guys. And when you're finished with, you know, you can see there's another bag there. That one's full of flies too. But that's a throwaway, a disposable. And those are fine too, but they're like $8 a piece. You can just take half of that material out, like I said, put it into another container, and you've got yourself more fly traps. And look at these things. That is bloody sickening. Okay, so when you talk about parasites, this is exactly, you know, of what you can call a parasite too. Even though it's a fly, remember, it doesn't do anything for you. It eats tissue and it poops on you. Bot flies, they make little eggs inside your tissues, right? They bite you, sting you, different types of flies do, and they inject their eggs inside the skin, and you wind up getting maggots in your body. It's pretty cool, huh? Remember, disease comes from a lot of things, and usually it's because you're not being clean. You're not being clean. So anyways, let's get started here. I'm just going to show you this. It'll take a few minutes just to make a few of these. And since we're here, let's do a little view. And these flies can kill animals. So I had, just about maybe 2 months ago, I was away in California. And you can see, let's see if we can zero in on this sheep right here. And you can see the back of her right there. It's got the black patch, is because she had maggots, okay, in her skin, eating her to death. And we caught her and treated her, because the flies go ahead and actually bed into the wool and they make babies. And you get thousands of these maggots like this under their skin. Thousands of them. And they kill the animal. So they killed my male, like I said, a few months ago. And I've had maybe 5 of the animals in here get sick because of fly strike. So if you've got animals, especially sheep or just even dogs, whatever, okay, you'd be surprised what the eggs, okay, do once they're hatched. These little maggots, they eat the tissue and then they defecate, they poop on the skin, and they cause people to get sick, and you're just transferring disease everywhere. Okay, anyways, let's get started. You ready? Okay, here we go. Okay guys, we're in the kitchen, but we're not gonna make a recipe. We're gonna talk some more about the flies that actually pass a lot of disease. Remember, there's over 120,000 species of flies, okay? Remember, you can get anthrax, cholera, conjunctivitis is when you get inflammation of the eye, okay? Diphtheria, dysentery, you tell them, Hodo, okay? Poliomyelitis, trachoma, leprosy, okay? typhoid fever, yaws. These are all different types of diseases that people get. So I'm just going to finish off part 1 here, but we're going to go over some, when I get infected, what would I do? Just the simplest thing I could do. And we'll show that on part 2. That's Earther Academy only, because we're going to talk about some treatments that I do and some more sensitive information that, well, we just can't talk about. So what I'd like to do, okay, is just simply show you, you know, you've got a lot of disease that transfers from flies. Just think about it, okay? I've got my glass right here, right? We're sitting outside inside your house and a fly crawls on the rim. The fly crawls on the rim, but it was just crawling on poop. Remember, they eat rotten carcass. There's a lot of different types of flies. Some flies bite you, right? And they inject you with something, whatever's in their body. And you can inject parasites, bacterium, molds, who knows what, but it can give you an infection. So if you've got flies in your house, I'm going to show you how you can make some indoor fly traps really easy. And I'm going to show you how to make some outdoor fly traps. Very simple, very easy. Or you can go ahead and buy the ready-made disposable ones ready to go. So we'll start part 2, but you got to really realize, okay, remember flies. Everybody talks about, you know, why, you know, you get a cold, you get the flu, you get some type of sickness, but what could you think it is? Just think about it. Remember, mosquitoes, ticks, chiggers, anything that bites your body, okay, injects something in you, okay? That's what happens. What do you think, Hado? Inject something in you. So I'm going to show you what I'm going to, on part 2, one of the things, if I feel I got infected or I got the first sign of a cold, okay, then I would go ahead and do what I'm going to show you. Now, we've done lots of videos on, well, we're talking about specifically about parasites, okay? And when you, of course, understand parasites, this is a lot of sickness. So some of the videos you may want to go ahead and catch up on are just our parasites category. Okay, because that's a big thing. Remember, could it be possible that parasites are the sickness instead of what we believe it to be? Could it be possible? One of the major reasons why people get sick, could it be possible that it's these types of disease transmitting and making diseases? Just what they are. Okay, so I think that's all I want to say for YouTube, but I got the drill out here. I'm going to show you again how to make your own fly traps, and we'll go over just a quick treatment just in case if I ever get anything. Watch our video on what I do when I get the flu. That'll give you a lot of information. Another good video for you to watch is how I use CD for various therapies. Another one you may want to watch also is called oxygen therapies. These are all recommended Earther Academy videos. And of course there's a part 1 and a part 2. We go over dosages and different ways that I use this, and I have used this for many years, okay? And no one's asking you to do anything, but of course in time when you do get sick, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? And when you do get bit by a lot of these different types of, like I said, ticks give you what? So-called Lyme's disease or Lyme disease. How are you going to see if you can lick that one? Remember, it's all experimentation. But there's a lot of people out there that have bit by thousands of mosquitoes. And remember, mosquitoes give you what? Typhoid fever, dengue fever, okay? Malaria, okay? Whatever it is, we don't know how it does it, what it's injecting, and or infections that you may get from it. So anyways, watch, like I said, our different categories on Earther Academy, because there's lots of different pointers there that you can connect the dots with in your own personal journey. So again, it's all an experiment, okay? Just like when you go to the doctor, How many years have you been practicing, doctor? Ask him. Go to the attorney. How many years have you been practicing? Because it's all practice. And all we can do is sort of figure things out together. And like I said, over 40 years plus, I've seen a lot of things, so I get a chance to know a lot of things, right? Okay, let's start part 2. And got a lot to show you. All right, what do you think, Hodo? Want to say goodbye? Give me a kiss. Give me a kiss. He reaches over. Okay, we'll see you on part 2.